This is an unforeseen chapter 2 to the story of Captain Tortured Artist and the Ship of Ideas. So now I'm gonna change the title. Apparently, that's just the title of chapter 1. I think now the story unfolds. The real title of this exploration is the tale of the two captains and the Ship of Ideas. Chapter 2, the spiders on the steering wheel. On the first day of the new captain, he was still trying to learn how to move his fingers and to grip the steering wheel in a way that won't damage his joints. He's still learning how to stand, how to balance, how to be on the position that he found himself in on the ship, because he has not always been there and he has not always had this pair of hands. And the ideas are just going on their usual routines, interacting with each other, interacting with the new captain, trying to relay the messages and the tasks and to find the common ground, perhaps. And of course, the stars and the waves occasionally interact with the ship, with the captain, and with the ideas. So, surprisingly enough, it was less chaotic than expected, even with the behaviors of the stars and the waves of the ocean. So the captain still navigates the ship and looks at potential horizons, has his map, and tries to see if this map is still accurate, because maps they tend to change depending on what kind of eyes are looking at the places or the territories or the horizons or the estimation of. And of course, this new captain has a pair of eyes that is slightly different than the previous captain. So he is now seeing the differences between the maps and what's beyond. And some horizons on the map that was handed to him it doesn't really exist. Now that he tries to see it and look at it, really look at it, it doesn't really exist. These horizons, maybe they have existed before, but time changed it or dissolved it, or the waves of the ocean interacted with it and dissolved it also. And as he was doing this, like doing this, he felt a bite on the edge of his palm. And the bite kind of made the veins on the hand grow darker and darker and darker and darker. And this bite, it's not just one. It started the bite, and soon the bite comes one after the other and one after the other. And now both his hands has this. His hands look like a sketch of a dead tree. And of course, it doesn't end with the hands. He felt this on the... Then he passed out. He woke up on a place where he isn't really familiar with. And to his left was the previous captain. And he said, "I thought the spiders were scared of the light." Apparently, it was the same spiders on the steering wheel that bit the previous captain, and now they're also spreading their poison on the new captain. And because the new captain has done his research on the ship, he is familiar with these spiders. It's just that he saw it from afar. He didn't really experience until that point how it's like to be bitten by it. Because these spiders only bite those that attempt to navigate the ship. So now he knows what it feels like. Now he understands the previous captain better. Why he did what he did, and why he behaved like he behaved. Because it really is the poison of these spiders is not something that is easily bearable. Then the new captain said, "They're not scared of the light. They feed off of it," he said to the previous captain. "They feed off of the light. And that's why they liked you. Because even though you don't believe that your light can reach from the heart of the ship to the ends of the universe, your light exists. That's why they remained alive during your reign, because they are feeding on your light. and it never runs out. For some bizarre reason, no matter how much light the spiders consume, it never runs out as long as the previous captain is alive. The light never gets diminished. It even gets amplified as he grew. The new captain really went through this, the poison, the feeling of he cannot eat, he cannot get out of the blankets, he cannot speak properly. But good thing, the ideas, some of the ideas that are tied to the spirit of the ship were strong enough to navigate it. So even when the new captain was sick, there were some who can make sure that the ship is still moving and not crashing somewhere. The previous captain sat by his side all through this because he knows what it's like to be alone, and he doesn't want to leave him in his own suffering. So he volunteered. He said, maybe I can take over again. Maybe I can take over again. So that you will not feel what it's like to run this ship, because I know that you've done your research. I know that you know that these spiders came with the ship. These spiders, there's no way to get rid of them. And I can take over again. You can rest, you can do your duties that you have done before, said the old captain. I can take us to our destination, the old captain said again, because he still has this destination that is on his old maps written. He has several versions of these maps, and the destination has a name and a figure and a final form, perhaps. But the new captain said, well, thank you for caring about my hands and my but I will go back to the steering wheel, and I know that this won't be the first time that I will experience the poison of the spiders. But I am really determined to lead the ship, and I know that I can, and And I want to. It's not just I know that I can or I feel responsible. I also want to lead the ship. And as for your destination that you are offering, he said to the new captain, I have figured out that this destination isn't really what this ship is for. Because the new captain said, I have studied previous captains and previous ships that have passed the earth and went and continued to the other parts of the universe. I have studied their journeys on earth, these captains, these ships, and contrary to what a lot of the creatures on earth believe, these captains may have similarities, but their ships aren't built the same way. Every ship has a different yearning. And I know this because a lot of those ships have reached the destination that they thought that the ship was built for. And then they park the ship or they stop with the journey. They settled perhaps on an island that gives them what they think they need. And their light, of course, the light of these captains were so bright it illuminated the entire earth that even if they have passed away, we can still see the light that once came from them. But also, like we know that is to be true, the spiders feed on the light. And then, as the light grew bigger, so did the spiders. And now, the spiders didn't just belong to the ship because they decided to settle on the island. The spiders followed the captain. And with these enormous spiders come the enormous poison that eventually led to the death of some captains. But because we have had the privilege of seeing the previous captains and their lives and their ships, we can prevent this, said the new captain. We can prevent this, but I had to lead. I had to be the one who's leading the ship. I need your help, he said to the old captain. I will need your help, but I have to be the one. I have to be the one steering. Because you, he said to the old captain, you have, out of the two of us, you had the higher chance to go down like the other captains did, consumed by their spiders. So, the old captain listened. and thought about it and saw that the new captain was right. The destination that he had in mind, he still has in mind, is not what the ship is built for. It's not built for a destination. It's built for a journey. And as for the spiders may be as eternal as the soul of the ship and the captains themselves. But there is a way to shrink the impact of the poison every time they bite. Or maybe there is a way to diminish the poison itself in the body of the spiders.